Everybody is ready. You are ready. This is a press statement on cessation of maize importation into the country immediately. We, the members of Parliament, demand for an immediate cessation of importation of 10 million bags of duty-free maize into the country, given that there is no official gazette notice that has been formally and legally issued. We are aware that there are plans by the Ministry of Trade to import 10 million bags of duty-free maize into the country, while at least this is the season of maize harvesting in major parts of the country. It has never happened before that the maize is imported into the country during harvest season, yet we understand that the local maize production is always our first remedy. As members of Parliament from maize-producing region, we seek to know the reason as to why ships are already docking in Mombasa port without the laid down legal procedures in place. An adjournment motion in this afternoon has been sponsored by Honorable Kuria MP Masop, Honorable Kosing, and Honorable Kaikai Bisau in National Assembly, and a statement by Nandi Senator Samson Cherargei in the Senate. We are aware there was no cabinet approval in the importation of duty-free maize into the country. This will undermine the intention of guarantee minimum returns to farmers GMR, which was championed by CS Moses Kuria. The projection of the bumper harvest of maize this season is projected to be 42 million bags, despite the high cost of farm inputs. For example, during planting season, we were buying one bag of fertilizer at 7,000 shillings per bag. High cost of fuel, plowing. In fact, we request that the cost of fertilizer of Kenya shilling 7,000 should match the price of Kenya shilling 7,000 per bag of maize. It seems there is a deliberate move to continue killing the maize farming in this country, as was seen in the previous regime, where even the sugar sector and other farming sectors were killed. It seems that the cartels are now back into business. In this time around, they appear more aggressive, more ruthless in this season. On the GMO issue, we don't need to rush until we have proper laws, policies, rules and regulations to govern the use and importation of GMOs into the country, including but not limited to agricultural products. As Parliament, we are ready to provide necessary support on the issue of GMO debate in the country with necessary consultation with including stakeholders but not limited to members of Parliament. In conclusion, the committees of agriculture, trade and industry and cooperatives in Parliament should immediately summon the CS of Trade, Honorable Moses Kuria, and CS Agriculture, Honorable Mithika Lenturi, on the matter. Furthermore, the ministry should cease the issuance of gazette notice to allow importation of 10 million duty-free bags or any other amount of maize into the country. We also demand the government to open National Cereals and Produce Board and strategic grain reserves and mop up the entire maize harvest of this year before allowing importation of any amount of maize. Finally, we call upon the government to freeze the importation of maize into the country until April 2023, when we have a clear deficit on how many bags to import into the country. So allow me to allow Didmas Barasa to say it in Kiswahili.
Kupunguza bei ya unga hadi shilingi 70. Huenda hii ndio ikawa mbinu ambayo waziri wa viwanda Moses Kuria anatumia kuhakikisha kwamba bei ya unga imeshuka na waambie Wakenya kwamba tulisema na tumetenda.
Hiyo haimaanisha kwamba bei ya unga haitashuka. Itashuka kwa sababu ndio tunavuna mahindi. Na mahindi tunatarajia kukisia kuvuna mahindi zaidi ya gunia milioni 42. Hiyo itatosheleza mahitaji ya wakaaji wa Kenya. Na kwa mwezi mmoja ujao, NCPB na Strategic Grain Reserve ikifunguliwa tuchukue mahindi, bei ya unga itashuka. Kwa sababu hata imeanza kushuka. Kwa sababu sasa kilo moja inaelekea 90. Nafikiri baada ya tukishafungua hii magala ya serikali na NCPB, wakulima wachukue mahindi, nataka ni kuhakikishia kwamba bei ya vyakula itakuja chini. Na upanzi ambao unakuja kwa sababu bei ya mbolea inaenda chini, tumepata kuwa ilikuwa 3500 na tutaongea na serikali mpaka ishuka hata to 2500 bei ya mbolea, ndio msimu ujao tutaweza kuuza sasa kwa bei ya chini. Asanteni sana na Mungu awabariki.
Sisi nachukua hii nafasi kuhakikishia wakulima wa mahindi kwamba tuko na akili ya kutosha ya kuhakikisha kwamba hakuna mahindi gushi ambaye yaliletwa katika nchi ya Kenya na serikali, na tuweze kumuuliza waziri wetu wa biashara Mheshimiwa Moses Kuria asikuwe na hasira sana na Wakenya. Tuna mahindi ya kutosha katika mashamba, katika store za wakulima wengi zaidi, na sheria inasema ya kwamba kwanza serikali ichukue yale mahindi yote, inunue yale mahindi yote, iweke katika strategic grain reserve, ndio kama haitoshi ndio watafute kununua mahindi nyingine. Na hiyo mahindi kama ni ya kununuliwa ili kuongezewa, lazima ikuwe mahindi ambayo ni mahindi ya sawasawa kutoka Uganda, kutoka Tanzania, si lazima ikuwe GMO. Jambo langu la mwisho ambalo ni la muhimu sana ni kwamba tulizunguka tukitafuta kura tukisema maneno ya guaranteed minimum returns, na vile kilimo ya miwa iliuawa kwa njia hii ya kuleta sukari ambayo ilikuwa gushi, ambayo ilikuwa na mercury. Na tumeona wale makateli pia wameanza kujipanga. Tundu ile ya zamani tena ni waziri awache kutoa matamshi ambayo tunaita kwa kizungu reckless, because those are completely reckless statements that can only come from a person who is coming from a bar, not a person coming from a government minister. And what we want to tell the rest of the country that we are a responsible government. We are a government that will listen to the people, and the people of Kenya are saying no to importation of GMO, no to importation of maize, because we have enough maize in this country. And the millers should stop misadvising the Honorable Moses Kuria into believing that we don't have enough maize in this country. They are misadvising him because they want to lower the cost of a bag of maize for their profitability, because we know that the cost of maize production is very high, and that for a farmer to benefit, to break even, one bag should cost about 5,000 or 6,000 shillings. And what the millers are doing is to misadvise the minister that we have no maize in this country, so that they can bring in duty-free maize from countries that we are not sure whether is good maize, whether is GMO. We remember one day we had maize that had aflatoxin, that we are not sure whether those maize are the ones that caused the issues of cancer to escalate. And I want to tell the minister that at least we are more than 45 members of parliament. We speak on behalf of millions of farmers. We may be few, but the voices that are behind us, the prayers that are behind us, the wishes and the hope that the Kenyans put in us, those of us who are here and some who are not here, I'm sure we will go to mount a force that will ensure no GMO of maize will be imported in this country. And if Moses Kuria goes ahead to say that he has to bring those maize, we will invite millions of farmers in Nairobi. We will take farmers to his office so that he can now explain to him. And we will transport the maize from farms, yes, from stores, and bring to him to his office.
Yes. Maybe let me say this. You have heard from our chairman. And let me tell Honorable Kuria, he is not an MP for Gatundu South or North or whatever. He is a minister of government. He needs to talk like a minister. He needs to talk knowing that he is responsible. Point number one. Number two, we members of parliament from Farmers Region, we want to tell any agency that Kuria wants to use to import, you will be on your own. Particularly this parastatal called Kenya National Trade Corporation, you will be on your own. There are no roadside declarations in this country. It must be public participation. There must be gazette notice, which will be tabled in Parliament. And if Parliament quashes the gazette notice, it is done.
So we want to tell these parastatos, which most Kuria want to rush using them. Even caps, they will be on their own if they do a mistake. And finally, I want to tell Honorable Moses Kuria, he will be the first cabinet minister to leave office. And he might leave office before the end of this month, or before Christmas. If he continues this, we will impeach him. We will collect signatures from tomorrow. If he doesn't change, he will be the first cabinet minister under this administration to go home. He is not above the law or above the people of Kenya. And he should listen to farmers. He was the one campaigning for guaranteed minimum returns. And he should talk like a minister, not like somebody from a bar or from doing some certain things. He should also respect life. He should not play around with death and threatening us that it's normal to die. That is not a cabinet minister in this country. So we tell Kuria, please step aside on those issues of yours. Leave Kenyans alone. Buy the maize from farmers.
Kakai, and then Kirwa, everybody will get a chance.
Thank you again for this opportunity. I'm here to stand to support this statement from the Senator and the rest of the leaders from the Rift Valley maize growing areas. It is truly unfortunate situation to see the importation of maize when at this moment we are harvesting. There are millions and millions of maize which has already been harvested, which has actually been stored in farmers' homes, but there is nowhere to sell them. But to see the ship has docked today, before the Gazette notice goes out, it bothers us as leaders, especially from the region, because we know our farmers are going to suffer. So this afternoon, I have an adjournment motion which has been approved by the Speaker. We will be discussing this motion and giving the opportunity to the rest of the members to also contribute on this issue, because it is a serious issue that needs to be addressed. It is a serious issue that the CS, Moses Kuria, needs to take very seriously. And I want also to request the committee members to call him and to summon him to come and answer these questions in the next few days. I know that he's not in the country, but he needs to cut his trip short and come back and address these issues, because farmers are requesting that we need answers to these questions. And the fact that the ship has already docked is even a very serious issue, because the Gazette has not even gone out, which means this thing was planned way before they discussed and told us about this issue. So I am in support of the Rift Valley and the entire region that grows maize, that we stop the importation of maize and wait until all the maize has been mobbed and purchased, and then we can say, okay, let's go into the issue of importing. And the issue of the GMO, we have not even discussed, it has not been approved. This is something that has to be addressed on a serious note. But now they are already going to sell them to the market. The farmers will be, the consumers will be taking it. But do we really know the danger and the issues pertaining to GMO? That is something that has to be discussed at length. So for now, I support this motion, and I also support the members from the region that we stop the importation, we stop selling this maize until we discuss fully and also explore all options fully. Thank you.
Timothy, then Marianne.
All about this maize commodity, because every year at such a time the politics of maize arises. At this time we were very happy that the government was not in the mix of the market forces. We allowed the natural causes or the forces of market to determine the price that for up to now has favored Mukulima. But as we see right now, I don't know why the government is not comfortable when the farmer is happy. What is the reason? What is the heart of rushing in and interfering with the force of market? Because the moment we import duty-free maize to the country, already we are exerting a volatility in the price of maize. And the government has not provided a mechanism or a recourse as to how we are going to cushion the farmer. This government came into force by promising that we are going to subsidize inputs and not output. By virtue of allowing duty-free maize into the country is nothing else other than subsidy that is contrary to what the president declared. So I want to remind the minister, please, let's stick to the executive order that we are going to give an opportunity our farmer to dispose of the available production in the market so that we are able to save on this one. Lastly, I want also to ask the minister on the aspect of GMOs. We really need a serious report from the public health. Can they tell us exactly what are the challenges? We don't want to go the West way. Now they breed in children that are so obese, lazy in life. Are we going to take Kenya that way? We know Kenyans as runners, and we've been eating good maize. That's why we run. Are we going to lose our glory by eating GMO food, losing our focus, losing our body sizes? Thank you so much.
Our assistant then, Joseph, you conclude.